Hi there. Now I'd like to give you an overview on our commercial product, OpenResty Edge, which is a powerful dynamic distributed gateway platform. We have a sample deployment of OpenResty Edge on some public cloud's infrastructure, and the entry point here is domain.openresty.com. You may want to deploy it in your own private cloud or public cloud environments, in which case you will have a different entry point for the admin website, of course. So this is the central console for the whole product. Our sample deployment is a global CDN network for our own websites, openresty.com and openresty.org. We call it mini CDN, even though it's already on a global scale. I'll give you a quick tour around our mini CDN here. First of all, let's log in. So you use a username and a password to get access to your admin website. So we can make it remember myself. Let's log in. Okay, here we go. We are now at the applications panel. So here's the applications page, which lists all our applications. So what is an application? Basically, each domain or domain group served by the OpenResty Edge gateway is called an application. Here we have 4 applications, one for OpenResty.com and all its subdomains, and one for OpenResty.org, and so on. Each application can take an optional label, like a description, and we have the creation time and last updated times. One interesting thing is the unreleased changes. So basically, when you change an application's configuration, it just simply saves as a change set. But the changes are not pushed to the gateway right away. So there's a separate release process that actually push the changes to the cloud. We can also edit existing applications' general configuration, like change the domains and add a label. So for example, this is the OpenResty.com site. The type part right now is not editable, so we only support HTTP and HTTPS. We can save it. So now OpenResty.com application has got a label. We can also delete existing applications, which is a dangerous operation, of course. So you've got a confirmation dialog. And we can also create a new application. We can specify, for example, food.com or add multiple domains. So when you specify multiple domains, there's a restriction that you can only specify domains under the same registered domain or the root domain. So here we can have api.food.com. You can save it. Okay, now we've got a new application. Okay, so next let's go to the gateway clusters page. So this is the cloud of our gateway. So basically we have several clusters. Each cluster is a group of machines in a particular region, usually just inside a data center. So for example, Aliu in Beijing is a cluster consisting of 2 nodes, and it is located in Beijing. And also Aliu in Shenzhen has 2 nodes. So these are the nodes' public IP addresses. And also we have a San Francisco Bay Area cluster running on DigitalOcean, and also a Hong Kong cluster which has only 1 node. The last cluster is very interesting because it's a pursuiter cluster running in my home intranet. One nice thing about our message bus is that we support going through a firewall. The synced nodes column shows how many nodes in a particular cluster has been up to date regarding to the configuration synchronization. And we can also delete and edit existing cluster. So for example, we can change the IP addresses and also doing node level configurations here, like how many worker processes a particular node should run and etc. Let's cancel it. We can create a new gateway cluster by specifying a name, for example, blah blah, and save it. So we now have an empty gateway cluster here. This section, Node Candidates, is for adding new nodes. Basically, when you have a new node set up, you install our OpenResty node software on that new node and also the client certificates installed on that node, and then that node will automatically send a join request to the admin system. And by that time, we will see any pending join requests from newly added edge nodes here. And then we can approve the node and add those nodes to any particular gateway cluster. We will demonstrate that process in a separate video. So right now, you just know such join requests will appear here. So now we can also delete the cluster, the blah blah cluster like this. Okay, so now it's gone. Okay, next, let's go to the users panel. So these are the users for access the admin website itself. We have access control for the admin system. So here we have 3 users, and all of them are super users. Each user takes a role, so role determines what privilege it has. We can add a new user with a username, for example, AgentZH, and a password. And we can give it a normal user role. For normal user, it cannot create any other users. Only super user can create new users. We can save it. So now we have a new user, and we can use this new login information to log into the admin website. Now let's delete the newly added user, AgentZH. We confirm it. Now the new user is gone. Next, let's go to the dashboard tab. We can get the global error logs from the gateway cloud or edge. We can see that some of the error logs are from the admin itself, and we can find more error logs. And it seems that there are some socket read timeout errors going on. Okay, and also there's a true gateway nodes error log due to some bad DNS query, as we can see here. So this global error logs page is updated at real time, at least soft real time. It's only subject to the network latency. And also we've got the global config menu page. Here you can configure the global configurations like worker connections for Nginx, maximum number of open files, listening sockets, backlog queue size, and TLS session ticket key sharing is on by default. So basically, the TLS session ticket keys are pushed to all the edge nodes or gateway nodes and get updated every hour or so. And we can also specify the session ID expiration time, the open file cache of Nginx, and also maximum request body size, the global error log level, the filtering level. So we can specify high level to get less logs or lower level to get more logs. And access logs configurations of Nginx can also be configured globally here. And for these global configurations, they can actually be overridden on a per node basis. As we previously noted here in gateway cluster, we can edit it. So on the node level, we can change some of the global configurations for particular nodes. Let's go back here. And also, we've got admin website's global logs. It's similar to the global error logs here, but just for the admin website itself. And also, we can change the current language. For example, we can switch to the Chinese by clicking here. And then we got a Chinese web UI. It's still in progress, and we will finish all the translation pretty soon. Switch back to English, and then here, the log out button, we can log out by clicking on this link.